You ever get that feeling that you're your own worst enemy? You know, like there's some inner saboteur just working against you, holding you back from who you really want to be. Well, today we're going to unmask that saboteur. It's a really powerful force, but once you get how it works, you can start to take it apart. Yeah? Sound familiar? I mean, we've all been there. This is such a classic move by our inner saboteur. It's that little trick called self-deception. It's that voice that just hands you this super convenient story, a story that feels good right in the moment. But here's the thing, it's a trap. It's a trap that actually stops you from ever learning from what really went down. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll break down what self-deception actually is. Then, we'll get into the saboteur's favorite tricks. After that, we'll look at the hidden damage it causes, and, most importantly, we'll wrap up with a solid escape plan.
All right, let's jump right in. Part 1. What is this sneaky inner saboteur?
Okay, so at its core, self-deception is basically our brain's defense mechanism. Think of it like putting on a pair of magic goggles that kind of twists reality just enough to make you feel better. Your brain just throws you this quick comfort blanket to help you dodge nasty feelings like shame or anxiety or fear. The big problem, though, is that temporary comfort is the very thing that can stop us from seeing the truth we need for any real long-term growth.
So now we know what it is. But, the real question is why? Why do our own minds do this to us? To figure that out, we have to look at the saboteur's favorite tricks.
Okay, the first huge reason, it's all about protecting our ego. See, our brain absolutely hates feeling like a failure. So it just swoops right in with a story to save our pride. That's that little voice whispering, hey, you didn't really lose. You just, didn't try that hard.
Another big one is simply dodging stress. Because let's be honest, the truth can be terrifying. Think about it. You ignore some weird health symptom and just tell yourself, oh, it's nothing, it's just stress. Why? Because facing the alternative is just way too scary. We're basically trading a potential long-term problem for a little bit of short-term peace of mind.
And then, of course, there's the classic move, avoiding responsibility. It is so much easier to blame something, anything else. Oh man, traffic was a total nightmare, we say, conveniently forgetting that we left like 20 minutes late. It's the perfect way to shift the blame and not have to look at ourselves.
And finally, we all kind of carry around this shiny, idealized version of ourselves, right? The kind, smart, successful person we want to be. And when our real-life actions don't quite match up with that perfect picture, self-deception steps in to protect it. It's there to just smooth over the cracks between who we really are and who we wish we were.
So these deceptions, they show up wearing a few common disguises. You might see denial, insisting, I'm not upset when you're clearly fuming. Or how about rationalization? That's when you create a noble-sounding excuse like, well, I didn't study because I was helping a friend. Then there's selective comparison, always looking for someone doing worse, thinking, well, at least I'm not as bad as that guy. And finally, projection, where you basically blame someone else for your own stuff, like, if my teammate had just done their job, I wouldn't have failed.
Now, all of these might seem like harmless little mental tricks, right? But believe me, they come with a serious price tag. So, let's talk about the real cost. What happens when you let the saboteur run the show?
Okay, so even though it feels like a warm hug in the moment, self-deception is really a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, think about it. If you never admit what went wrong, you are absolutely doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over. You end up making bad decisions because you're essentially driving blindfolded. It can totally ruin relationships. I mean, who wants to be around someone who is constantly blaming everyone else? And maybe worst of all, it just completely stalls your personal growth and, deep down, creates this simmering, hidden anxiety that never really goes away.
But here's the turning point. The truth, it really is like a bitter pill sometimes, right? It stings going down for sure, but it is the only thing that actually heals you in the end. So the real question is, are you ready to swallow it? Because if you are, there is a way out. And that brings us to our final section. And honestly, this is the empowering part. Your escape plan. The good news here is that self-deception is just a mental habit. And guess what? Any habit can be broken.
So here is a simple 5-step plan to start kicking this habit. First up, scan your brain. Every night, just try to notice one single moment from your day where you might have fooled yourself.
That's it. Second, embrace your flaws. Start reframing mistakes as teachers, not as failures. They're data. Third, get real feedback. Go ask a trusted friend to be your mirror for a second, to tell you what they honestly see. Fourth, question yourself. The moment you catch yourself making an excuse, just pause and ask, wait, is this really true? And finally, number 5, face the truth in bits. You don't have to fix everything all at once. Just take one small, manageable step at a time. And you have to remember this. Every single time you choose truth over comfort, it doesn't matter how small the moment is, you are taking a huge, powerful step closer to becoming the strongest, most authentic version of yourself.
So ultimately, it all comes down to a choice. On one side, you've got the path of self-deception. You're driving blindfolded, living in a made-up story, and your growth is just stalled. But on the other side, you have the path of reality. And that's where you start making smarter choices, building stronger relationships, and opening up a life of real, authentic possibility. Breaking free isn't just about being honest. It's like cutting the very chains that have been holding you back this whole time.
And that leaves us with one last powerful question for you to think about. If you could just summon the courage to face one truth in your life today, what would it be? Really think about that. Because just recognizing that truth, that's the first real step to breaking free.